All right, everybody. Well, this is Mark the Prepper Guy. The sun is coming and streaming right in my eastern window, so it's obviously morning. Of course, you wouldn't know that depending on the camera angle. Could be sun going down, just like on America. The sun is going down. Well, hopefully you listened to my last podcast and you got something out of it where I was kind of ranting and raving about Agenda 21 versus a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. And it was kind of done in jest, but the reality is, if you're kind of a cranial person and you like to think outside the box and wonder what the fuck's going on, that might be something they're thinking about. But I did talk about, in one of my blog posts a long time ago about DHS and Department of Justice and DOD, Department of Defense, and their initiatives and how they have a lot more power than we ever knew we gave them to keep this continuity of government going. And I've talked about continuity of government and how I think continuity of government is a good thing, not this government. Um, like continuity of government in Cuba. Who cares if, the Castro brothers just fucking die a miserable death and the people are free again, you know. But we're past that. This is fucking mind numbing weirdness going on with this COVID virus and stay at home orders and I woke up this morning thinking, wow, that's really weird. Every time I'm watching Fox News, and I think other news agencies are doing the same thing at the end of the show or during their breaks, they're showing pictures of and videos of, New York. Nobody out there walking around on the streets of New York. LA, nobody walking around out there. And I'm wondering, where the fuck is everybody? Because it might just be two or three street corners at the right time of day when normally it'd be slow anyway, and then people are staying home. And really, New York and LA are pretty damn big. So if you're looking at one street corner, at a certain time of day in any town USA, this 7-Eleven has nobody in it. But the rest of the time, it's normal business as usual. But I'm wondering if this is true, where are all the people? Um, now, good, good little lackeys are going to stay home, the sheeple, because the governor said stay at home, shelter in place. Don't be out there causing problems. How the fuck can I be causing problems? I'm sick. I got COVID. I'm going to stay home, cough, just like I would if I had the flu. But out of, 15 million people, like, say, California, LA, you know, let's say 100,000 of them all have the flu or they think they do and they're staying home. That's still 15 million people minus 100,000 that are at home. So where are the rest of the fucking people? And I was thinking, like homeless people, they're fucking homeless. You know, cities have been telling them to not park their tents on main streets and stuff like that for years. They're not fucking listening. But now all of a sudden, the cities came along and they said, "Hey, could you move along? It's COVID. I'm gonna die. Stay home." They're like, "Man, I don't have a home. Well, stay in your little tent here. Don't go out." Like homeless people are going, "Oh, wow, really? There's a pandemic? Fuck. I better stay in my tent, even though my neighbor over here is coughing and it's a fucking tent. You know, we're all eating out of the same fucking pot around here, so it doesn't make sense." What about all the criminal element in New York and L.A.? And I don't mean like just normal fucking bad check writers, criminals, but the criminal element. They're not out driving around having a fucking blast. There's not enough cops to just shoot them all, and they're letting them out of prison. So the fuck is that? I'm curious. Just what the fuck is going on in our country. And I guess that's the problem, what's going on. We as Americans don't realize that this was our country. We ran it. We told the government and Congress how many checks to write and whose bills to pay off and what to do. Well, now they do whatever they want. See, they've taken this power cord, like you have under your computer, It's like you got one plug that you plug into the wall, and then you have six more plugs. And they've plugged it into itself, and now they have five more plugs that they can use for power. And they're telling us it works. And so they have unlimited check writing potential, the same way they have unlimited power in their mind. See, they have no money, so they want you to stay home. They've shut the economy down. So there's no sales tax, no income tax, no VAT tax. There's no tax, whatever it's called in your area. All the taxes are being waived in a lot of things. Maybe on food next, they'll waive taxes. So they all their money is not coming in. Their legal way of getting money through taxes is dried up by their own request. And then they go, don't worry, we're going to write you a check out of this checking account that has no money in it. So it's like your crackhead friend telling you, dude, you need a loan? I found this checkbook. I'll just write you a check. Like, dude, there's no money in it. It's like, don't matter. I love you, man. Here's $1,000. And then somehow magically you go to the bank and the crackhead teller was like, oh, $1,000. They put it in your account. Now, nobody cashes the check ever. Zeros are moved around and numbered digits. So they go into your account and it says zero. And now they put 1,000. You got $1,000. Awesome. But they don't need to check on the check, make sure it's any good because it's from the Fed. So they're like, bah, whatever. And then you go buy shit. So you don't like take out $1,000 in cash. You see, that would fuck shit up. And go buy cigarettes and coffee. Now you go to the bank and you go to the Circle K and you give them your plastic card and you're like, here, give me some cigarettes. Okay. So they do that. And then get some coffee. Some coffee. And you go, wow, that's fucking awesome. Thank you. Still got $995 in there. Or you pay your landlord $500. He's like, you give him a check. He's like, fucking thanks, man. Puts it in his bank. You don't have 500 in your account at all. You, know, you think you do, and the bank thinks you do, but there's no money in there. Landlord puts that in his account, and now he's whole. And his bank don't look at nothing. When did this kind of weird stupidity fucking become real? Because it doesn't work. It's called check kiting. It doesn't work. So you got a government that's just writing out checks, giving people money, but they don't have any money because they're not getting any taxes, which is the only place the government gets money. They don't have a factory where they make widgets and people buying so many fucking widgets that they got trillions of dollars in their bank account. No. See, the government is similar to a business. If there's no money in the account from its only revenue stream, which is taxes, then their bank account is fucking empty. So now they're telling you to stay home, and now they're going to write you a check, and the bank, like the good little morons that they are, going to go, awesome, $1,200, put it in your account, and then you go on about your business. You go to Walmart or wherever, and you buy some coffee and your cream and your sugar, and you're like, oh, thank you. Your card shows there's some zeros in your account, so fucking awesome. So the government is writing checks on an account that has no money in it. And then they're going around the world telling the world we're going to buy up all our bonds that you bought, like China and everyone, because they're fucking worthless junk, and we're going to pay you a premium on that. We want to buy them back. fuck yeah. You know, about time some sucker comes along and buys this useless, worthless shit, and they're going to sell them. They're not going to hold on to them to get better because they see what's going on in America, so they're looking at it just like Peter Schiff said, and they're going to like, who's not going to hit that deal? Everyone's going to do it. It's like, oh, I got this much money. I put $100 million in America, and I bought all these bonds, and now they're giving me $100 million and 5,000 that I made over 10 years, which is a great place to park your money if you don't need it. You only made $5,000 for $1 trillion. It's still better than nothing. So that now the government has all their own money back. They have all their bad checks back. But the people get paid in dollars when they, sell their bonds to the treasury. They get paid in actual fucking dollars. And then they go out and buy gold with it. So the minute those zeros and those ones and fives go into their account with nothing in it but fake money, they go and buy gold on the world market, physical gold. And then, so if if you've ever listened to any economics, things like Peter Schiff or Greg Mannarino, who's just like flipping out about this, or Gerald Salenti, who is pretty fucking smart, you see that we're being lied to. And as long as people believe the lie, all's well in Fantasyland. So I don't know how to look at this other than we're fucked. And you look at all the words, like I watched a couple videos from Q. I'm like, oh, that's great. You guys have been doing all this shit. Where the fuck are you? Because now it's getting real. The time for these fake intentions, just like fake checks from the government. It's time to put your fucking money where your mouth is. Q and Patriots. You know, I've had, well, I guess they're preppers. Comment on some of the shit I've been posting, and like on Facebook, and they're like, well, if you're not careful with this COVID, people will die. It's like, oh, fuck off. You know what? You self-righteous little pansy. You know, 4 people died in New York or yesterday, or fucking that 1,000 out of millions from COVID-19. Another 70,000 fucking died from all the other shit. These, people like, I think it was Victor Johansson was on one of the shows I was watching, and he's really smart, and he's like, okay, 7,000 whatever, 400 whatever people died in California, in LA yesterday. COVID virus added 4. So when you put it in that perspective, you're like, oh, this is like the flu. Actually, this is like the flu because, see, the flu, just the normal flu season this year, has killed 10 times more people than the coronavirus. For some reason, we're freaking out about COVID, coronavirus, Chinese flu, whatever, Kung flu. So we're being lied to, and that's fine. And then all the people that were like, oh, Q is out there, oh, WikiLeaks is out there. Well, you've seen what the government's done to them in the past, and you had the Oath Keepers and the 3%ers up there in Hammond County when LaVoy Finnegan got flat out fucking murdered. Where was everybody then? That's I don't know. I mean, it's like having body armor. If you don't put it on, you're just fucking gonna die. So you got all this useless fucking body armor that when you actually look to the 3%ers and Q and the Patriots and go, okay, maybe they're smart enough to see what's going on. They're fucking nowhere to be found. Just like I've said in hundreds of my podcasts over the you know 5 years. It's like when push comes to shove, they're going to be gone. It's always been that way. Everyone talks a good game, and they get their social following, and they make $10,000 a month on their YouTube videos. But really, when you and I need them, they're fucking crickets. This is bad. I've heard people that are, you know, older, not, knee-jerk reactions, you know, going, "What the fuck is going on?" Like Gerald Celente and like some of his last videos, Gerald Celente, I don't know, fucking look him up. He's 65, 70. I don't know how old. He's probably younger than me. I just think of him as an old man, but he's an economist. He's really smart. He's got the Trends Journal. He's predicted trends for 20 years. This is going to go up in America. That's going to go down. You want to make a lot of money, be in this market, not that. He's been right. And he's sitting there going, this is insane. He doesn't swear, so he doesn't say this is fucking insane, but he's like, holy shit, what's going on? Never seen it in his life. I've never seen this, and I've studied history and stuff, and I'm 65, and I have a historical frame of reference when I kind of look at things. It's like, when did this ever happen anywhere where people just rolled over? I mean, even in Cuba, when they became socialist, communist, whatever the fuck there was a revolution. People fucking died. Germany, they were all kind of brainwashed into this bullshit, and Hitler came along. Yay. He can't be bad. He's a vegetarian. He's only got one ball. How dangerous is this motherfucker? And then when they finally woke up and realized that the heinous nature of what Hitler was doing, it was too fucking late. And I think we're in the droggy period here. Like we're kind of waking up. But see, we got another you know 30 days of stay at home. So really, that's like hitting snooze. You're gonna go, oh, fucking a, I'm gonna go back to sleep. And that's what's happening in America. We're fucking going back to sleep. It's it's over. It's fucking over. And really, you know, whatever the game that is afoot is going on, it's fucking over. It's over, Johnny. Like I said in my last couple fucking videos and podcasts or whatever, and people will rummage through the digital copies of the world and our history, on the internet, if they still allow that when, this is all over and said and done. Um, I go, wow, some of these people were right. Why didn't my parents listen to them? Because now I would live in a world that's great instead of this Agenda 21 Hunger Games fucked up world, like the, divergence kind of whatever's going on, it's not going to be anything fun like zombies because then you could just kill these fucks and not really feel bad about it. 'Cause goddamn zombie, fuck him. So nothing's going to happen. People are unaware of what's going on. It's easy if you have a large group of people that see what's going on to react and control it and to fight and go fuck this. And it wouldn't have happened in America during the Revolution if we'd had the media going, "Huh, it's all right." Some fucking crazy people. Washington and Jefferson, they're all crazy. You're doing really well here. I mean, you wouldn't be here if it weren't for the King of England. And actually, when you really look at, you know, what we went to war with England, it's over a fucking very small tax, 2% on tea, and people flipped out. The Stamp Act, oh, they flipped out. Oh, they tax you for a stamp. Send a letter home to the colonies or to England, wherever. People freaked out. We had a Revolutionary War, so we didn't have representation. Oh, we don't know either. You know, and so things are changing. They're morphing in front of your eyes, and just like a good, morphing program. When you watch it, you look at your picture, and then it turns into a dog, and you're like, wow. If it happens cool enough, you're just like, wow, how did that happen? That's so cool. I look like a dog. That's what they're doing. This our society is morphing into something here that's not America. at all. I don't see people flipping out in the streets because they're being told everything's fine. I don't see any patriots. Where's the where's the call to arms? I get all the newsletters from all these groups, and there's no call to arms. Well, they're afraid to. The minute they put that out there, the scrubbers on the internet are going to go, "Hey, calling for revolution." They get arrested, black bagged, stomped to shit. You know, I know a lot of them that actually physically live where I live, and there's no communications there. It's like, hey, Mark, we're gonna go kill a bunch of them buggers. No, nothing. So we're asleep while America is transformed into, I'll just say it, communism, socialism, un-Americanism. Nothing that you or I or our parents or grandparents or great great grandparents have ever seen before, ever. Even with the news, we haven't seen it. They're going to take us to the way of China. And the only other thing I could think of is that they're going to clamp down on it. And while we're all at home, we'll be in good little lab rats doing what we're told in our cages until they put us back in the maze. I would hope that they're going to sit there and go, okay, we fucked up the economy and we fucked all this up. Now here's your new currency. It's been valued at, you had $1 million in your 401k. Now you have 10,000, but that will buy the same amount of stuff that it would have when it was 10 million. It's just a smaller number. We had to shrink the shit. Running out of fucking ink here. So, when you go back out and you use your ATM because there's no more cash, you can still, like, I could still finish adding onto my house, except instead of it costing another 10, 20,000, it costs 500. But I get the same stuff I get done. And then they go, there, we kind of fixed the economy and we put some bubble gum over the leaks but that's not what's happening. I mean, yeah, they're going to take your 10 million and it's going to be worth 1,000 or whatever they decide to value it at. But it's not going to buy shit because there are no products anymore to buy. See, people are not working. People are not building cool shit. They're not building flying cars. They're not making Krispy Kreme donuts, basically, like on my last show. So, it's supply and demand. And in an economy like America's and anywhere, even China, fuck, if there's no demand for them trinkets, they're not building them. So the demand for little trinkets dictates the supply. It's like, oh, there's a demand for 5 of the things I make, so I'll make 5. And then you have to level up. And they go, well, next week there's going to be a demand for 10 of those things you make. You go, okay, I'll build 10 of them. And so if you're always doing like a good little business person, you're like, okay, next year's projection is we're going to need 500,000 of those little widgets, just based on growth and demand. And so you go out and borrow money and you build a factory. You hire a bunch of people. So throughout that year, you make all those widgets and you pay all those loans because next year's projections say you're going to double that. But you've already borrowed the money to build your factory, so you're in pretty good shape. So now next year, there's a lot more profit and you're still paying off that loan and hiring a few more people to make things run smoother. And that's how supply and demand works. And as a business person, now you're invested. You've borrowed money. Banks are making money off of your loan. People are working. The economy's good. Billy Bob quits working at your factory making widgets because he's decided to build a better mousetrap. He goes out and builds a blue widget. And all of a sudden, he's your competition, which is fine because there's still a lot of people who want your widget. So you don't just go kill Billy Bob. You're just like, well, good luck. This is how it works in America. So he sells 5 and then he sells 10 and pretty soon he's got orders for, millions of his little blue widgets. But he's got a factory and he's got workers now and all that. So now there's twice the money circulating through, there's twice the little widgets circulating through the economy and everyone's making money. And little Jane, she quits working and merges with somebody else at the other, the red widget company, and they form a partnership, and then now they're going to start a consortium, and they're going to advertise for the widget makers, and then boom, they have two ads. Like fuck, some sucker bought our ad. You know, next year there's hours and hours of billable time, advertising for the fucking widget industry. So we all, well, anybody with half a fucking brain understands how economies grow and work and how they are actually living and they move and they ebb and flow with supply and demand. Um, so there's still a supply and a demand for certain items, but they're going to start telling you, well, you can't buy this. So when you're shopping, don't buy that. Well, Walmart and Amazon are two of the largest corporations, in selling trinkets and fucking baubles, little blankets and beads to the Indians, that's us. And pretty soon, because you're not working, um, I really wanted a 75-inch new TV. They've come down in price. I'm just not sure if I'm going to buy it because really, maybe, you wanted a bigger TV so you could watch football games, but there's no fucking sports on TV right now. Uh, Hollywood's not making movies, so I'm not going to be really watching any movies next year because I'm Netflixed out. You know, everything was done. Now they're not making movies. They're not recording movies. They're not making sporting events. There's nothing to watch. So I'll stay with my 65 inches. It's fine. It's paid for. Um, what is in your life as far as the trinkets and the baubles and the shiny things that you were going to buy last year from Amazon or Walmart, whatever? That because the economy is so fucked up, you're not going to buy it. And even if there's still, there's state-run sporting events now, so it's the football, and you got to watch it because it's all there is. You don't really need that big ass 80-inch TV. You got one that's working. So you're like, yeah, I'm not going to buy it. I don't know what is in your life. If you look at all of the items, like if you go through my orders at Amazon and you just go through the last 10 years of or whatever that you've ordered shit, how much of that stuff did you just buy because you fucking wanted it? I got a mixer, I got 3 or 4 microphones, I got tons of shit, old computer shit. The computer's dead now. It's in my barn collecting dust only because I hate throwing shit out, but I'll throw it out eventually. And then all the hundreds and or thousands of dollars worth of shit to keep it running, make it run, do all that that's now obsolete. Well, see, I'm not going to buy that this year because the fucking economy's all fucked up. So there's a smaller demand. So there's going to be less supply, and people aren't going to make them anymore. And the widget guy's going to sit there and go, well, fuck, no one's buying my red widgets. And I'm not going to go kill the blue widget company because no one's buying the fucking blue widgets either. So it starts to shrink. Instead of it was expanding, now it's shrinking. So when you really look at it, if you were down to your last $100, I'm pretty sure you're going to go buy food. You're not going to buy a fucking new pair of shoes because you can't go to the gym anyway. So fuck that. You might buy some gym equipment on Craigslist so you can work out at home. But yeah, odds are you're not going to buy it, because you still think that things are going to get better. They're going to pick up. I'll be going to the gym again. Maybe not. Are you going to spend $1,000 on gym equipment when you got rent and food and electric bills? Because now that the government's done fucking everything all up, they're not as lenient as they were. So maybe you got to pay your rent's been reduced to half, and things have been lowered. You're still not going to buy gym equipment. So you can see how it shrinks this in the same way and at the same rate of speed as it grows. The free market's how it fucking works. Um, so, we're not going to become like China because we have no manufacturing here. I don't even know what the fuck we're here for. We're really like vanity pets in America. As far as the fucking world leaders or whoever they are. Because China, you got workers and factories. Parts of the country, like you look at Italy, they don't really fucking make anything, and they're all dying. Well, maybe it's planned that way. Get rid of them. So are you gonna raise little silly dogs or dopey cats or whatever the fuck pet you have if you can't afford to feed them because things are all fucked up? America has become a vanity pet to the world. Got a lot of cool land. So if I got rid of all them pets, look at the pretty yard I would have called America. Because like there's a lot of America and it's pretty fucking awesome. And it hasn't been contaminated or fucked over really to speak of. So it's not like India where it's fucking lithium dumps everywhere, battery acid and shit because we fucked those people over. So no, America's been kept pretty pristine. So it's like the manicured backyard of that if I just get rid of all them little fucking dogs that they're breeding, then there won't be shit all over it. We'll move there. Have we become expendable little you know bio accessories for the rich and the famous? And now America's just like, fuck them, kill them. Get rid of all of them, and then we'll move in there, like we're doing in France and in Italy, where it's so pretty and stuff. We'll just wipe a lot of them out, and then we'll move into those really cool buildings, and we'll keep him alive because he makes really great pasta. And we'll keep these fucking Americans alive because they do some shit. They're hard workers when put a gun to their head and stuff. So I don't know the end game. I know there's an end game, and we're watching it unfold. But America's fucking useless. We don't make anything. We don't do anything, and our innovation's been stifled. And as far as being, like gung ho Americans, we're fucking useless shitheads anymore. It's like the government says stay home, and we're all like, okay, okay, why? You might get sick from the flu, you dumb fuck. Oh my god. Yet, years ago, Chuck Yeager, people like him, men, women even, where they're like, we'd really like to break the speed of sound. Like, well, you know what? Build me a fucking plane and I'll do it. Or what about the monster on the other side of the envelope? It's like, fuck that. There's no monsters out there. Just build a goddamn plane that can stay together at that speed. I'll fucking fly it and land it. And he did. Nowadays, it's like, oh, you better not go outside. You might get this imaginary coronavirus. It's like, oh, fuck. Shelter in place. Hunker down, motherfuckers. And then you bring it up on Facebook and you're like a motherfucking pariah. It's like, how could you say that? People are dying. It's like, oh, fuck you. People are dying every day from all kinds of shit. 30 some thousand people die a year on the highways. You know what keeps them alive is somebody's paranoia that won't cross that yellow line and run into you. That's it. Fucking yellow line. Everyone's zipping along 75 miles an hour. Don't cross that line. Why? Because you'll run into that fucking car and you'll die. Oh, fuck. See, it's not like, oh, I don't want to kill that guy. I don't want that semi to kill me. It's self-preservation. You know, but we still drive. Well, for now, I mean, we're all becoming such pussies we won't even fucking drive. It's like, oh my god, get a self-driving car because I can't handle it. Fuck. So, you know, this is what's going on. I hate to fucking break it to you, but you know, all of the men out there, they can fall in line and they can do pretty good and they can do a business and all that, but they're not the men of the past that just went out there and said, fuck that. I'm going to do that. Like, you want to see what real men were, in the 40s and 20s and the 1800s and stuff. But even in, like 20s, read Ayn Rand's book, Atlas Shrugged, because, you got the men of industry, and they're putting their money where their mouth are. Is, they're taking the risk. They're doing it. They're in the factory. If that fucking factory blows up, they're the ones that's going to die. And it's fiction, but that's how men were. I remember, you know, a friend of mine, his dad was, typical guy. He was trying to build a little hover car for his kids. He tried lawnmower blades and all kinds of shit because they didn't have the dynamics of propellers like they do now. And I think he had a friend in the airplane industry, and somehow, he got this thing to where it would kind of hover. Nobody wanted to get on it because it'd get up and fall over, or stop, and the fucking gas motor would choke you out or whatever. But he just did it for shits and giggles. He'd sit on that fucker and just rev it up, and it couldn't lift him off the ground. He'd sit there and stand back and drink a beer and look at it and go, "I wonder if I did this." So you don't have that anymore. Nobody's willing to take a chance. They'll take a chance on the internet, which is a virtual world. It doesn't exist. You take a chance and you die in some, fucking, you know, video game. That's all it is to these people. And then they take that video game, and because it's working, then they want to try to apply it to the real world and stuff. But it's the internet world. And, you know, it's you could go broke, but most people don't go broke in America today. They live in their parents' basements. You know, my father's generation wouldn't be caught dead living at home after 14, 15 years old. They were just like, fuck, I'm out of here. They might live in the same town and help their parents run the farm or the ranch. There was no way in fuck they were living at home in their parents' basement because they were too inept to fucking make it on their own. I mean, rather than to admit that, they would kill themselves back then. Now it's like, I live at home. And your hot ass girlfriend's like, oh, that's so cool. You're smart. Yeah, why spend your money? You know, live at home. Fuck your parents. They're almost dead anyway. That's a nice house. We'll remodel it and flip it when they're dead. And then we'll do whatever our generation do, which is fuck off. So as you watch the next week, because I've been talking about this virus and all that, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I can see a fucking tidal wave coming, from a long ways away, and I'm not going to be that fucker in Austin Powers going, no, no, waiting, waiting for it to come, you know, yeah, and 4 months later, the wave is now starting to get closer to the beach where I'm sitting, and and I can sit there and go, you know, it's almost here. So you can see it. We're not fucking morons. And if you are, it's because you're younger and stupid. Talk to your parents. Talk to your grandparents if they're still around and go, what does all this fucking mean? Yeah, at my day, we did things this way. And try not to laugh, you know, because they didn't have cell phones and rotary dials. And before that, they cranked it and they go, Melba? Yeah, Melba? Yeah. Could you put me in touch with Barney down the street? Oh, thanks. I'll hold. Yeah. She'd plug it into Barney's phone. And you'd talk to Barney. You know, don't laugh because that was like high tech shit back then. But they didn't. You know, they looked at things differently. They went, storm's brewing. Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? It means you better shut your storm windows. You better get some shit down in the storm cellar. And you better stay around the house so when that fucking storm hits, you're no more than a half a minute or two from the storm cellar door, or you're going to get sucked up in that fucking tornado and you're going to die. And they went, oh, okay, Dad. And they fucking listened to their parents because just like animals follow like little baby birds will follow their parents. Like I watched a quail run around in this like line. It's just, and they don't even talk to each other. But then little birds and babies, they're just like, you follow that fucker because they're still alive. You know, they didn't get eaten by whatever the fuck's out there that we don't understand because we're baby birds. So kids would, their parents would say, "Get in the storm shelter." Bam, they did. So how did your grandparents deal with this shit? And talk to them because they're the real generation. They're just barely hanging on to what's left. And your grandparents, like I'm a grandparent, so I'm not that fucking smart either now because like I was born in the '50s and raised in the '70s, kind of a fucking hippie, reformed hippie that's now become a conservative that wants to be left the fuck alone, and I'm a rebel. My grandparents, they were the fucking shit. You know, my great grandparents, helped settle parts of Arizona. They were parts of they were part of the Mormon battalion that just whether you understand that, it's like the cavalry. They were Mormon battalion. They did a lot of shit, when attacked and had some problems. And, came and settled this part of the state. And were literally settlers. Um, but even my grandparents, they had a homestead up in the mountains, and they were ranchers, and they built their own bucking homestead, and they were ranchers, and they rode on horses. So just a different type of grit. So you can sit there and go, well, okay, I could do that too. I know how to homestead. Okay, good. Did you? No, I live with my parents in the basement. Um, do you know how to can food? No, I know how to open a can. Oh, so really, when it comes down to the basics, can you can you build a fucking fire with sticks? Like if you, not the world ended, but if you were just like out camping and you got hurt and you're away from your group, could you, you know, do enough first aid on yourself to where you could, crawl into a cave or something, know if it was safe in there, build a fire and keep warm until the next day when they come and find you? I mean, because, my grandparents could, your grandparents could, your great grandparents to fucking turn that cave into a castle before the morning and be living large. They weren't afraid of shit. And that mountain lion that lived in there, they just fucking killed it and ate it. Now they're wearing its fur. Nowadays we're chicken shit, and you see it. You see it. You just fucking see it everywhere. Like on the news, all the news anchors, all fucking sensitive and shit. It's like, why are you calling it the China virus? Don't you think it offends people? You know, it's like, don't you think? You know what? No, I'm tired of that question. Don't you think you might offended somebody? Really, I don't give a fuck. Don't they think that they're offending me by ass fucking my country and my freedom and my liberty? What about that? Oh, no. Yeah. Well, if you say that, you're going to hurt someone's feelings. It's like, really? Because if they do this, it's going to hurt my feelings. So you know what? If they don't care about mine, then fuck them. I don't care about theirs. Fuck them. So this country is no longer America. I'm just going to put that out there. So I don't even know if I'll have time to do any more podcasts because I'm just at the opinion that I have to pay attention to what's going on. And then like today, I'll try to talk about it if I get a chance to, but I'm fucking busy. To get an hour to where I can record in quiet, it's going to be kind of difficult. So, you know, I'm going to say it. America, as far as the landmass, is still here. Constitution, as far as protecting rights, is just fucking dead. Dead. Um, you can go down your list of rights that once we had and protected by our federal government. I mean, because we always had the rights, but then the federal government said you can't do that to that guy. He's got rights. Now they're like, well, we don't think you have that right to own a gun. It's like, really, I really thought in America it's none of your fucking business what you thought. In fact, I just elected you to shut the fuck up. So that's dead. Go down that list. First Amendment, Second Amendment, and all your rights, they're gone. They're just fucking gone. The British, when they fought, you know, in the Revolutionary War, were granted more rights. I mean, someone said that the serfs and the poor people in England, like sharecroppers and stuff, they only had to give 25% of their money to the king. The rest of it they kept. I would kill for 25% tax in America. So that's all dead. It's a dead. It's to, you know, to look back on it's really cute and nostalgic. It's like you remember when we had a constitution and we had rights. It's like, oh yeah, they were protected by our state and federal government. Yeah, that was cute, wasn't it? It's like, yeah, that was great. You remember, you know, like that cool bar we used to go to. Yeah, then they bulldozed it down. Yeah, it's like I miss that. Yeah, me too. It's fucking gone now. Your constitution is gone. America's gone. You now work for the state. So we are socialists. We just haven't figured out how we're going to get our heads around it as a people to where we can be sold the idea that this is a good thing, that, you know, the king has sex with your wife on your honeymoon night because they said so. You know, and we will, you know, see those old movies like Braveheart and go, fuck that. I would do like him. No, you wouldn't. You'd fucking buy the lube for him. You'd get him a condom. Oh, yeah, fuck my ass. That's the rules. That's the law. Oh, well, here's a condom. I need a bigger one than that, motherfucker. Yeah, whatever. Here's some KY. Fuck her good for me. That's where we're at. That's how that's how sad we are. You know, so back then you looked at it and you went, "That's stupid. We would never be that way." But we're that way. It's just different words, different things. So now we have to get our head around being socialist. We're no longer free Americans. We no longer live in a market-based free market society, and supply and demand is drying up on both ends of the spectrum to where when you go into the store, there'll be the basics, and that's it. You don't need a new 80-inch TV because we told you you don't need it. Oh, okay. I mean, what are you going to watch anyway? Sports? We canceled that. So it used to be that the king would sleep with your wife on the honeymoon night. And you know, if you look at a wedding party, there's a reason why the men are on this side and the women are on that side. So men could draw their swords because marriages were always attacked by the king or whoever to take the wife. So there were reasons for all these things, but now it's so far removed that we don't that's like, oh, that was so fucking weird. It's the same now, it's just different things, but we're still getting fucked over, you know. But since we don't get married, we don't have to worry about that shit. Now it's just a ceremony, you know. It's like the groomsmen and the bridesmaids. Yeah, there used to be a reason for that, but now it's just like it's tradition. So as you look at your country the next couple weeks and you watch it disintegrate before your eyes and morph into something, it'll be so fascinating to watch that you won't realize that it's happening. But you will no longer be free to go do things. You know, I'm wondering when's the time to bug out. Like, you know, I really want to finish my house. And, you know, I guess if they don't fuck things up so bad, maybe I'll just stay here and I won't worry about it. You know, it's like, fuck it. I'm old. See, and it's, you know, they're not going to put me to work. They might kill me, but, you know, or should I just like gather up my shed and be ready to go? You know, the minute I hear that they're not letting people go camping or something, maybe I should just go. Or should I wait until I'm already dead in the boiling water? But you're going to see it and it's going to morph and it's going to be so interesting to watch that you won't react because it's like a train wreck. You're just like, wow, what the fuck, you know? And so it's happening and it's morphing right now. And by the time I come out with another podcast or in another week or two, you won't recognize the America you live in from the one right now. So, it's happening, and I mean, you'll just like I said, I don't even recognize it. Some of the stuff I was saying last week, I don't know if you can hear that annoying fucking messenger bullshit app. Fuck. Um, from what I talked about last week, which was just kind of like thinking outside the box and going, well, this is what they're trying to figure out. Um, you know, we went from, oh, you could go to hair salons to now you can't. Barbershops were open, now they're not. You know, we could still be open in our store, but, and now they're saying we can, but we shouldn't drive around so much. And now they're saying what you can and can't buy. There was a miniature run on our bank in our small town because they don't keep enough money in the bank, and too many people wanted to take money out of the ATM. They stopped that real quick. But was it serious? And they're just saying, no, it's just we ran out of money. It's a small town. We don't have that much money. And we all want to look at it like, even people that I know that understand things, will sit there and go, well, no, because I had to go to a different branch to get the money to loan this person to actual hard cash, you know. Um, so that, I had to go to a different bank. So we don't want to believe what's happening. So we're going to believe the bullshit story they tell us on the news. Don't want to believe that America's transforming into a socialist country. So we're going to believe that this is a coronavirus and it's all for our own good. We're going to believe that all those people in LA and New York and everywhere, these big cities, are actually really staying home. No, they're probably forced to stay home. And the criminals are probably out doing criminal shit. They're not showing that because we don't want to believe that that's what's happening. We don't want to believe that America is in her death throes, dying, you know. So I'm going to make a new T-shirt in the prepperguy.com/shop. Um, that says non-essential. And it's got a picture of Uncle Sam pointing at you, are unessential, non-essential. Um, so go, check it out. I haven't gotten any pictures of it yet. I'm still working on the artwork, but I got some other things there, some, resist much and obey little plaques, and I can put them on T-shirts for you and stuff. And the website's it's kind of running, but you know what? If you email me, mark@prepperguy.com, and say, hey, that plaque, I'd like that to be on a T-shirt. I can do that too. Um, so um, depending on the T-shirt, if it's cotton, then it's going to be a different process, but it'll say it. If you want it in color, then it'll be different type of fabric on the T-shirt. But I could do T-shirts and stuff like that. So go check it out. And if, right now I got a few things on there, and I can change the format for them because I'm not like fucking big corporation or anything like that. So if you want that on a plaque, or if you don't want it framed and mounted, but you just want it on metal to where you can nail it to your wall or something like that in your man cave, which is nobody's got those anymore. We can't afford that shit either. But you can you know drill a hole in it, and nail it to your fence post. Tell people you're a prepper or whatever. Whatever, we can do that. So I'm working on the non-essential T-shirt, which I think I need to print a few, and then that way I get some pictures, and then you can see and stuff. So anyway, I'm disgusted, just fucking disgusted. It's winding down to the point to where a week ago I felt pretty secure in the fact that it's going to skim along good enough to keep things, skimming along, to where I'm really starting to wonder what's going to happen to our savings. Um, should I order a bunch of shit so I at least can finish my house, even though I don't have anywhere to put it? I could cover it, I guess, and have it here. Because, if I'm put on home arrest, like most people in the big cities, and they can't go out and stay at home, um, then I got something to do. I mean, we can be open. We're kind of deemed semi-essential because we're construction and stuff like that, but it doesn't mean people are coming in, you know. And even if they want to risk coming in, gets into that supply and demand thing. It's like, are you going to spend $10,000 on fixing your house up when you're not sure, that you might need to buy something else with that 10 grand? Smart people will think about that shit. You know, I mean, I could save my money and buy some food storage. I mean, I don't even have much food storage. I just got enough for maybe a week or two, and I'm a prepper and a Mormon, you know, at least down deep, And I don't have food storage because well, it would have all gone bad over the 40 years I've been prepping. So, um, just should I just spend a lot of it on food and then hope for the best? Or should I just, when it gets to that point where it's just ugly to where I need to break into my food storage and run my solar because the world's so fucked up that I'm just gonna wander off and eat rabbits and hide under a rock to where the boogeyman, whoever that is, big government boogeyman, don't get me. I don't know what to do. So, I'm thinking, well, maybe I ought to just spend my money on some building materials because at least I'll have something to do while the world burns around me. Fiddler, like Nero had his fiddle. I'll have my drywall. I can work. So I don't know, everybody, but you will see, if you're paying attention and not just running around panicking like on Facebook, and you're just like looking at things and going, okay, from a supply and demand economy and a free market, things are changing. Um, and evaluate your life. What you were going to spend money on, you know, this year in your mental budget last year. You're like, I think next year I'm going to buy that thing. I'm going to fix this project. I'm going to finish that thing. Are you going to do it again this year? Because that was your plan last year. So you had a budget, of some sort in your head. Even guys who are fucked at budgeting, you're like, yeah, I'd like to finish my yard, or I'd like to get my truck running, or I'd like to, you know, are you going to do it now? Now that you look around and go, things changing. Maybe I should reallocate my funds. I should reallocate my focus. Take this that was on the back burner and now put it on the front burner because it's so much more important than, having a pretty yard was last year. Now it's not that important. Feeding my family is important. If you're making those decisions, then things are changing. This is America. We used to not have to worry about that shit, but now we do. So think about it and watch. Like I said, it's going to be so fascinating to watch it morph into socialism that it'll happen and it'll be too late unless we just go batshit crazy. Because the game is only played when people play the game. So there's not enough federal boys to stop all the free people in America. And a failed, fucked up free market is 10 times better than a prosperous socialism. So I don't know. People might just go, you know what? They might just get done watching it morph and going, "Well, that was amazing," uh, and to just fucking flip out and start burning shit to the fucking ground. I mean, literally wholesale slaughter and just killing people to where I am not going to let this country become that. Fuck you, and just because there's enough Americans that are batshit crazy. It's not like Cuba; that was a fucking island, you know, to where they might just people might just go, that was all fine and dandy, and now that I realize that you don't care about me, I'm just going to burn your fucking house down with you in it, and that's called anarchy, and that could happen real fucking quick. So I don't know what will happen, but the game is moving, the morphine is happening. We will be socialists. I have no idea how the reaction will happen, but if we're counting on this millennial society, and the younger patriots in queue to do something, they're not going to. It's, I think, at the point to where things end badly. That's why they end. So enough people, maybe the majority will roll over and go, this getting fucked in the ass isn't that bad. I kind of like it. Or there might be just a big enough majority of people go, fuck you. I'm burning this fucking thing down to the ground and starting over. Fuck it. I can burn the entire city down and it'll grow back and we can build new buildings. Fucking burn it to the ground. I don't know what'll happen, but that's what happened to Rome. It burnt. It was sacked, ruined, and destroyed because their leaders were just too busy, off fucking little boys or whatever they did in Rome at that time when it turned into a shithole. So I don't know. There's when you look as far as you can look, you can only see what you can imagine maybe actually happening. And I can look at everybody being capitulating little bitches, going, "No, don't offend them," well, someone might die, and become that pathetic of a fucking society to where we're thankful that the chains they put on us are made out of titanium because they're a lot lighter than the old steel ones back in the good old days. Or we might just revolt and go, "Fuck you," and You know, maybe our military will actually do their fucking job and declare martial law and throw out all the politicians and reinstate the Constitution and then have a new clean an election and shut down the media and all that. Because that's what real martial law would be if you had a, a, a military presence that weren't a bunch of bought and sold, paid off fucks. So that could happen. Or we could just morph into something that's really kind of unforeseeable because you can't predict chaos. Or we might all just go, well, that was interesting to watch. Now I'm going to kill every motherfucker that wronged me. And I'm going to burn this motherfucking city to the ground. And, when you look at it, there's only 3,000 counties. And in those, there's only a couple cities that have any clout. So that's 6,000 fires. And then boom, it's over. And that's 300 million pissed off people for whatever reason. They didn't get enough welfare, you know, during the socialist takeover. And then the people were like, I didn't like you taking my land and my farm, so fuck you. So there's that. And psychohistory or the mathematics of mass populations would kind of dictate that there's only two or three avenues, and it really depends on how they play the game. The fuckers that are screwing us. And if the media can sell enough people on this bullshit idea, um, because I look at it and a lot of people are just dumb as fucking dirt. They're just fucking stupid. They don't even know which end of a hammer to pick up to bludgeon someone to death with it. So, they don't, you take away all their big gliders and they're not going to burn the city down because they don't know how to start a fucking fire. They're that fucking useless. So, I don't know. Um, I know what I would like to see happen. I'd like to see us go back to America without killing everybody and just, I'd like cooler heads to prevail. I don't want to be capitulating and sell out all my values just so we can have a resemblance of America, because that's what we've had for 50, 60 years anyway. But I would like to see something happen that doesn't require totally tearing it apart and rebuilding it. But sometimes that's what you have to do if you're restoring an old vehicle. You just got to strip it all the way back down, find the parts of the frame that are usable, like the Constitution, sand everything, powder coat it, and start over and rebuild it from the ground up. And and when you're doing that to a vehicle or a house, it's a good idea. When you're doing that to a governmental system like America and the Constitution, that's kind of scary. You know, and Big Brother's going to say no, and they're going to bring in all their cops and their minions to tell you no, stay at home, motherfucker. And these people are all doing it for God knows what fucking reason. I don't know why governors are, enjoying getting fucked in the ass, but maybe it feels good. I don't know. I don't know why police departments aren't rising up, going, "Hey, fuck you." I don't know why our military's not rising up and going, "Hey, fuck you." And I don't know why we the people aren't rising up and going, "Hey, fuck you. But we're not. They're not. It's not. So I think within a couple more weeks, I mean, they're talking about, well, let's stay at home for another month or two. We'll see. Eventually, someone's going to go, hey, fuck you. And I guess whoever blinks will be the loser. Talk to y'all later. Enjoy this new apocalypse. Bye-bye.
For all we ought to have thought, and have not thought. All we ought to have said, have not said. All we ought to have done, and have not done. I pray thee, God,